Number six, the laws of logic and mathematics exist. Well, go figure, right?
But we can put these people in the science camp, right? Like they share the same building on our campuses.
And Troy tells us that even though science appeals to the laws of logic and mathematics and thus presupposes them, it can justify them. Why? Well, because logic and mathematics are a priori fields. That is, the relevant laws are warranted by direct rational awareness without any appeal whatever to sense experience. The sciences, right, especially the hard sciences, are a posteriori disciplines that crucially justify their laws and theories by appeal to empirical observations.
Right.
Mathematical and logical fields are a priori, and therefore there's no direct sensory experience with regard to observation, whereas scientists or sciences are a posteriori disciplines, and they, adhere to and justify their laws and so forth by empirical observations. And so the laws of logic and mathematics cannot be defended by scientism claims. That's what.
Yeah. So having the equation, I think at the start of it was something like 7 + 2 or something along those lines.
3.
Yeah, and he
equals 17, right?
He gave the vastly wrong answer there. Well, we know that's always going to be the case. That will be the wrong answer. That it's always going to be 9 being the answer. And no matter how many times, no matter how many ways you write it, no matter how many trees in the forest you find, it will always equal that number. But what a tree is made of is something that needs to be experimented upon. It could be made up of something different. It could not be of wood, but a naturally occurring steel. And so, therefore, you have to do your science experiments there. Those are the ones that we get really excited about when we find something. One of these trees is not like the other. We learned it from Sesame Street, but then the scientists get really, really excited when one of those things is not like the other. And so, those are the six then of the ideas that undergird, that build up the foundations of science, of what makes good science, what the Western world has kind of hearkened to. Even the post-Enlightenment era, for a little bit, have held on to those things. And of course, as Christians, we're going to point back to the foundations being the belief in Christianity that have helped to move those from the Greeks and Roman world into the more enlightened Christian phase. And so while you might look at those six things and go, well, of course, no one's going to really argue against that. The fact here is there is an argument to be made for those. There are people that stand on different sides of the equation there, especially the oughts and is and objective truth. And so what do we do with that? Well, the science can do nothing about that. You then have to take off your science hat and put on a philosopher hat. So he says, in conclusion, then, in all this discussion, do not miss the forest from the trees. Hey, look, I made a forest reference as well. The conclusions of science cannot be stronger than their presuppositions. They are many things that science presuppose. But science itself cannot justify those presuppositions. It needs philosophy to do that. And therefore, the philosophy of scientism, which is not itself science, ends up being the enemy of science itself. Scientism tries to undergird science, but it is unable to do so. It fails on the first start because it is a philosophical claim.